Imagine waking up in a hospital room after giving birth. Your baby is happy and healthy, and everything seems to be going well. However, you still feel a slight sense of uneasiness, largely due to the smaller scar near where you had your C-section. After some digging, you realize you will never be able to have children again, not because of illness or choice, but because the doctor you entrusted to bring your child into the world decided you were no longer fit to be a mother to more children. This is what happened to 10 Mexican-American women in Los Angeles during the 1970s. A handful of them didn't even realize they weren't able to have children until a couple months after delivering their last baby. Some didn't even know until they tried to have more children afterwards. Their story became a lawsuit called Madrigal versus Quilligan. This was a case that challenged the forced sterilization of Latina women at the LA County USC Medical Center. This case is documented in the Virginia Espino and Renee Tajima Peña collection of sterilization records that is preserved at UCLA's Chicano Studies Research Center. Box 4, folders 22 through 30 of the case include a court filing and testimonies. These were dated September 1977 and included the women's testimonies describing how the doctors pressured them to sign or deliberately misinformed them about the forms they were signing. These forms were then used as consent to perform a tubal ligation on the women. This all happened as they were in pain and not thinking clearly, while also speaking limited English. On a document dated September 26, 1977, the court ruled against the women. Despite the documents proving the women were unaware of the surgery they were receiving, the court's reasoning for dismissing the case was that the doctors did not intend harm. Misunderstandings were due to communication barriers. The system excused itself. The implications of this case rippled far beyond East LA. It exposed the long history of eugenics in California, a controversial set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the genetic quality of humans. Most of the time, this was based on racism towards any minority group. It was a desire to breed out any non-desirable genes, aka the genes that cause phenotypically darker skin. Thousands of Latinos were sterilized from the 1920s through the 1940s because of the state's eugenic laws. Despite these laws being repealed later, racism and control over women's bodies continued in hospitals and medical misunderstandings. When we look at these primary sources, we have to ask who wrote this, what was the purpose, and which voices are missing from the narrative. In the court documents, it is clear that it is the judge's opinion being centered. Despite the documents stating that the women had no idea they were undergoing a life-changing procedure, they ruled against the women and the doctors faced no repercussions, even though they were engaging in medical malpractice. The documents also fail to fully encapsulate the experience of the women. The women's affidavits and later interviews that led to the documentary No Más Bebés show the story of pain and anger, but also resistance. Even though the women lost the case, the women affected by these harmful practices started a movement. Hospitals began to rewrite consent policies. The federal government was pushed to require bilingual consent forms and a 72-hour waiting period before sterilization. When we look at Madrigal versus Quilligan documents, we aren't just witnessing what happened in the courtroom. We see how the laws and prejudices against Latina women manifested in a medical setting and how these women fought back to gain their right to autonomy. Their voices remind us change does not necessarily come from winning a case. It comes from community and uplifting each other's voices where there is an injustice inside a system meant to keep Latina women down.